Tonight on the Throwback Metal Show, my in-studio guests are Hour 11. They're a band from Riverside, California. The guitarist Sean Silas and I go way back. As it turns out, their singer Dan Daniels goes back a little bit too. We reminisced and discovered some connecting points. The band was direct support for Ashbury at this last year's Throwback Metal Fest. They're in the studio recording a new album right now. Drummer Joseph has come along, and you might be surprised that he's actually coherent. Cool group of guys, a great album. Gonna play every single song from their album. All right, this is Martin DeBourge back with you on the Throwback Metal Show. My in-studio guests are Hour 11. I've got Sean, Dan, and Joseph with me. Sean, say hello.
Hey guys, what's cracking?
And Dan.
Hey, how y'all doing?
And Joseph.
What's happening?
Very cool. I appreciate you guys making the trip up here for the live in-studio interview.
Oh, man, thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
It's always a pleasure. In that last segment, we heard the song Daredevil. Somebody tell me what Daredevil's about.
All right, Danny.
It's all you,
It's all on me, huh? Daredevil is about, I can't even think of what's the story? It's the horse.
Yeah, with the head.
With the headless horseman. It's his horse.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so we wrote the song. Actually, Jay Smith, our former drummer, he penned the lyrics, and we kind of... It's just about not the story of the headless horseman and not going out and staying inside and being trapped. So it was we kind of took that whole approach to it. It was really cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So about the band, Hour 11. You guys. I've watched Sean and I go way back, and as we were talking off the air, it sounds like Dan and I do too. You got, I know, looking at the About Me page, there's a little bit of, some growing pains getting the band together, but you guys are a locked-in unit now. So, yes. What year are we talking that you guys got together?
I believe it was 2010, and we got together. Well, actually, I got together with Todd Norris, and we were trying to get that going. And we had a singer that was that was probably 3 or 4 singers that we tried out, and we locked in with one, and that didn't really. Well, that kind of went on for a while. And then I think maybe a year later, me and Todd went to a club to go see Danny sing, and I didn't see Danny for, what 15 years?
Yeah, it's been about 15 years since we saw each other.
Yeah, and so we went to the show,
cool.
and I see him, and he just completely flipped out because we haven't seen each other in so long. And so I go, well, look, let's look in the future, see if something would come up, if you're available, because I know that you live up in Reading now, I believe.
And you had already been kind of formulating the band, putting it together.
Yes, it was probably within a year's time that we were trying to get things going.
Cool.
And then what?
So yeah, I did the show. It was my old band Conspiracy. It was our reunion show, and I go home. I flew back home that night. And about 2 days later, I get this email. Hey, what's up, Danny? Let's hang out, And so we decided I was going to come down, and I came down for a weekend, and we wrote 3 songs and just banged them out, and it was just kind of like this whole magic thing, because I had always wanted to jam with Sean, but I never really had the opportunity growing up. So we did it, and we jammed it out, and just kind of snowballed after that, and I was spending a lot of gas money and a lot of to come down. But the beauty of technology is you can do a lot of recordings at home.
Sure.
We don't really have to...
Well, that was my next question. Chicken or the egg came first. Were you guys doing recordings before you did shows? Or?
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, we were actually... we wasn't there was a name of the band, R11, and then there was us just recording, and us just getting together, and Skyping was our big thing, because he was far away, and that worked out pretty nice. And then
now, just chatting via Skype, or were you jamming via Skype?
We chatted. Yeah, okay. We chatted.
I was going to say, that breaking new ground there.
Yeah,
we had enough speed for that.
Yeah.
We would lay ideas down, and then he'd shoot them over, and then I'd lay my vocals down, and then we'd listen to it, and you could actually hear the audio pretty good via Skype.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
It wasn't too bad. So I had a little home studio, and he had his. And
so the first show came when?
Both. The first show was at that little pub that Jay Smith set up for us.
That's right.
In Colton. What was that?
The Liam's?
Liam's, yes.
Okay. There you go.
And that's,
Do we play
Yeah.
with Intake?
I think we played.
Intake.
You guys played. We all played together, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Joseph,
so you did play that show? Because I was wondering if you...
No, I didn't play the show. Actually, I come from another band called Intake. No longer, but Intake CA. We were always played, and that band always did shows with like Jay Smith, like in Scrimmage Heroes and stuff like that. And so when they booked that show, I don't know how we ended up hooking up to play the venue all together, and we just, of course, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it clicks. But Joseph, you were you're the most recent add-on. Yeah. That beeper says that we got to wrap this interview segment up and go on to play the next one. But usually it's just a warning that I got another minute to spare, and we're gonna. I didn't do this on purpose. Minute to spare, but next up is despair.
nice.
Nice. I didn't do that on purpose.
Nice.
that's funny.
So tell me about despair.
You want to talk about it? Or am I the guy?
That's-
who
you're
gets to
the
talk
guy.
about all the songs?
You know what all the lyrics are.
Despair talks about finding salvation in something, no matter what it is. And the day and age we live in and the times we're at, it's tough. There's so much going on and there's so much drama. So it's reaching out for something, whether it's faith, no matter what you believe in. I am a spiritual guy, and I believe in God. And so I reach out to that while other people reach out to other things, drugs, alcohol. I don't know, just if there's something that we're looking for as a society. So that's kind of what Despair's about.
Cool. Well, that's what we're going to play right now, and we'll come right back after this. All right, this is Martin DeBourge back with you on the Throwback Metal Show. My in-studio guests are Hour 11. In that last segment, let's see, we finished it up with Four Walls. Somebody tell me about Four Walls.
Well, Four Walls is another great song that my daughter actually penned the lyrics about this. I was going through some tough times and was kind of like in a relationship struggle, and I said, honey, help me write a song, because she's very talented, and she penned the lyrics, and it's about being trapped inside a box, and how do we get out of that box? Someone who actually traps you. I think a lot of times people, they try and box us. They try and say, well, you need to fit this mold, and if you don't, I'm not going to deal with you. So this was kind of that, saying, let me get out of this, and this is where I'm going to be able to be an individual.
Well, in my personal opinion, I'm sure everybody else will agree with me, that's actually what I find appealing about the band is you're not writing a whole lot of third-person songs. These are all very personal songs and like that. I mean, that appeals to people, and you can dial in and you can relate to that. A lot of times it's nice to know what the lyricist had in mind when they write it, but oftentimes you walk away with, well, that's not what it meant to me, so I'm going to ignore you. Not that that's the case on that song, but that happens a lot, and I think that comes from the ability to kind of do some introspection and write about it.
Absolutely. We all have a story to tell.
Sure.
I mean, every one of us in this earth has a story to tell, so why not tell it and where people can actually relate to it,
Yeah.
If you go to if you go see a good speaker, they involve you.
Sure.
They make you feel like you're a part of their story. It relates to you.
Sure. And so, you're right. I mean, I remember I was sitting in a class listening to a great speaker, and the way he delivered his message right off the top was, hey, everybody in this room is a survivor. I mean, when you think about it, like you say, we've all got our own stories, and in a way, we survived to be in this current day.
That's right. Absolutely.
Pretty cool that way. Usually I don't get right to what the next song is going to be because we have a few minutes to talk about it, but I think there's a storyline in here somewhere about, we're going to play Get Up next, which I guess, and I've always struggled with how you say that guy's name, but you had a guest, Phil Collin, right? Mm-hmm. That's how you say his name?
Yeah.
I sure didn't want to say Colin. And it probably pisses him off when I hear people do that, but that's cool. You actually got him on a couple tracks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that
That's Sean's story.
That's Sean's connection. Tell me about that.
It's all good. Yes, Phil and I go back. Well, it's known that I work at Fender, Fender Guitars, and I work in the Jackson Guitars department, and this was in 2005. I was working on a guitar, and I felt this presence of a rock star somewhere, and I was all, new to it and green to it, and I'm like, who is that, behind me? And I looked back, and it was Phil Collins, Leopard. I'm like, oh man, I gotta meet him. I didn't get really, really, starstruck. Yeah. Because I'm at work, but then just deep inside, I was thinking of,
gotta talk to him.
Yeah, dude. So that's when I met him, and Phil was like, yeah, if you ever come up with anything, just let me know.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then after that, then
he's an OC guy, I think, lives down in Orange County, right?
Yeah. Yes, he's in by the beach. Laguna Niguel. That's it. Yes, and Phil is down there guy. He's cool. He doesn't act like a rock star,
right?
And his wife Helen. They are great people.
That's cool.
And they just took us on their wing, their big wing.
Yeah.
And
did you send the track out to him and he just sent it back? Or?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes, he did all of his parts at home.
Well, actually, I've seen a documentary where he kind of walks you through.
Yes.
His studio setup and his I don't know if you've seen the same documentary where his vocal booth is the closet.
Yes,
we were actually we went inside. It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was cool. Yeah.
You just can't argue with the end result. It's like, well, it may be the closet, but it sounds great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The coolest people I've ever met.
That's cool.
They're just
for sure
chill, and they welcome you into their home and they make you feel at home. So it's
That's
great.
way cool. Yeah. That's way cool. So we're going to play that in the next segment, Get It Up. But Get It Up. It's Get Up, correct? Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
It's all good, brother.
I'll edit that out. No, I won't. I'll let it fly. And there it is. So we'll go ahead and listen to that right now. And this is Get Up by Hour 11. All right, Martin DeBourge back with you on the Throwback Metal Show. My in-studio guest is Hour 11. In that last music segment, we listened to Snake-Like Charm. Yes. Tell me about that song.
Snake-Like Charm. Jay, our former drummer, he wrote the lyrics. Snake-Like Charm, it's pretty much about someone coming after you. It really is written about a werewolf, and a werewolf coming after you and attacking you, and how they change colors from being a human in the day and then being a werewolf at night. So that's kind of what it was written about.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Kudos to this Jay guy. He exits the band. You get to use his songs. You get to use,
Yeah, Jay and I, we go back, and we played music for a long time together, and he's probably one of my best friends. He was in the wedding, which was, I think, 2 days before we played the festival.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got married the week before I got married, and then we did the festival. So
nice.
Kudos to Jay. So, he's been one of my friends for a long time, and I put him probably top 5 drummers in my category.
Easily.
What's he on to now?
He's playing a lot of church stuff. That's what he's doing now,
Right.
But he's a great guitar player, too, and just being with him. So I think it's Morgan Rose, Dennis Chambers for me, and then Jay Smith for sure. So
that's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's funny. We had this joke Jay and I, we've been friends for a long time since I was a little kid, because I used to watch him do marching drums and stuff in Fontana High School and all that. And I was kind of following his deal, you know what I mean? But, drumming together, we started doing a lot of shows. It's funny, but then it's funny because at first, he would get a drum endorsement, and then I would get the same drum endorsement, and then he would get a cymbal endorsement, and I would get the same cymbal. So it's kind of funny. We had this running joke, hey Jay, when are you going to get the next endorsement? So I know what I'm getting next. It's pretty funny, man.
That's cool. That's
he's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then Joseph, he just kind of took it to the next level. Jay is very talented, and he makes it look so easy. But Joseph, he kind of took it to the next level with the same amount of talent, but in aggressive. Just the
aggressive
way he plays, it's just
and energy, for sure.
Yeah, I guess I have a reputation of not tickling my drums. My cymbal endorsements, they're probably not too fond of that. I go through a lot of medals.
Yeah.
I wasn't too sold on Joseph, though. To be honest, I'm going to be straight up, because of the way he plays. He plays backwards. And it's really different. And so whenever I watch him play. It throws me off sometimes.
Because you don't know what he's going to do.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
But once he started putting his stamp on the band, it was solid. And I remember calling him because I was the one who was going to let him know he was in the band, and I let it prolong for a while. I was like, dude, let me just let him sweat just a little bit.
Singers like building up the dynamic.
Right.
So finally, I called him and I said, hey, man, you got the gig. And he was like, what? It was
Yeah, that was awesome. I remember that call, man. I was driving my car, and I'm like, almost crashed. It was awesome.
Now we know. Yeah, that's cool.
It's funny, like he's talking about, like the setup. I was in NAMM last year, and this dude comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you're the guys with the backward drum set." And I'm like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, I follow you on Instagram. Like, I'm from Australia." And I'm like, "Whoa,
that's awesome.
That's a trip,
Yeah.
Because like, if you ever get a chance to look at my kit, it's like the feet are right-handed, but the top hand is left-handed. So it's like really weird. I remember going to the studio one time, and the tech, they had this tech there to mic all my drums and tune them and all, and I tell him, we're just tuning the drums individually. I go, when I set up, it's going to be kind of weird, man, so just watch out. He goes, oh, dude, I've seen every single setup in the world. I'm like, you've never seen a drummer setup like me. I can promise you that. He goes, you know how many times I've heard that? And I go, okay, cool. So then, fast forward like an hour or two later, all the drums are tuned, so we set everything up. He goes, dude, I've never seen anybody set up a drum like this. And I'm like, gotcha.
Yeah. From a guy who's had to mic several a kit, man.
Right.
It's difficult when you're thrown for a loop and you get things set up and you got your stands ready and it's like, oh, none of this is going to work.
It's funny because of that. Like, I have my own drum mics and I have everything like pre-mounted and everything.
Oh,
so all you really have to do is plug in, because I don't want to be a sound man's nightmare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want to do. Piss off the sound guy. You know what I mean?
This drummer's great, man. I might have to steal him from you. Let's talk about the guy who's not here.
Marcus. Yeah.
Marcus.
Yes. Marcus is out. He does.
He coaches.
Yeah, coach. No, he doesn't coach.
He umpires.
He umpires. Sorry, Marcus. Yes, and he's working right now.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's not able to be here, but he's a third member that came in. Right?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, he's the third guy.
Yeah. So, and he's a phenomenal friend, bandmate, and bass player. I mean, I know Marcus since '99, I think it was.
Oh.
And he used to play like in cover bands.
Oh, okay.
And he played with our friend Eddie Petrol. And that's how we met.
I still can't picture Marcus playing in a cover band, like, because be new to the band. That's when I met Marcus. I didn't have any history with him, but like when you talk to Marcus, he's like, hey man, like, just really mellow, chill. But when that dude gets on stage, he's like an animal. Like, we'll be playing, and I know, like, if I feel like a little bit tired or anything like that, I look up to see Marcus. And he's like my recharge, because that dude just owns it. He's all over the stage. I got pictures of that dude jumping in the air, and he's higher than me on my drum set on the riser. You know what I mean? He's just skying, and he's an animal, dude. Like, it's weird to see him. Like, you talk to him, he's super mellow, super calm, the raddest dude to just chill with. But then on stage, he's a monster.
Wow.
I mean, and I literally am like a monster.
Right,
He's so rad.
That's cool.
I couldn't picture him playing cover tunes.
What had he done before the band? Before Hour 11?
What did Marcus do?
Yeah,
he was just doing cover stuff, man.
I mean, that's it. Literally.
That's it.
Never an original band.
It's amazing.
Never. Not once.
Yeah,
And he writes amazing bass lines. Like, I'm impressed every time. It's crazy.
Well, from a guy who's done his share of cover band time, I talk about it like it's prison time, but it kind of was. But you learn a lot from it.
Yes.
I mean, when you can imitate, you kind of, in a way, you find yourself.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I think so. And that's the cool thing about the new material is we're featuring a lot more rhythm section, drums, and bass. And so it's cool. And Marcus's influences from playing covers, from being able to do all that different driving stuff. It's adding a lot of feel to the new music.
Right, definitely.
Very cool, very cool. Next up, we're going to listen to this is another Phil Collins appearance on Struggle.
Struggle.
Yes.
Actually, my favorite song on the album, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. There is, from a vocalist, can't help but think from a vocalist perspective, and I'm listening to the whole album, and you got a very There's an aggressiveness there. I think Struggle kind of brings out some interesting vocal qualities as opposed to the other song. My personal opinion. I mean, there's some things there. It was like, oh, he can do that too. That's cool.
Cool, thanks, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
What's
man.
Struggle about?
Struggling. Why do I struggle to let you go? You know, it's like letting go of something or letting go of something. You know, and that struggle, that challenge of doing that is really could be a challenge sometimes. So that's what I wrote it about.
It's pretty straightforward. Very cool. All right, we're going to listen to Struggle right now, and we'll be back with Hour 11. All right, this is Martin DeBourge back with you on the Throwback Metal Show. My in-studio guests are Hour 11. Let's see, in that last segment, I played a couple of them. One, I threw you for a loop on because it wasn't an Hour 11 song, but we'll talk about that one after we talk about The Other Side.
The Other Side. Dude,
that's my favorite song as far as the guitar goes again. But I love the vocals in it as well. And the drums and everything about it is just that, you know, I'm more like, well, I can't say it like that. I love Dream Theater.
Sure.
Okay, and I've always wanted to write a song that was kind of, you know, like complicated. You know, and that song is probably one of our, you know, complicated type of songs, you know, guitar-wise.
Yeah, no, it's a great jam. You know, lyrically, Romeo and Juliet, and it's Romeo waiting for Juliet on the other side.
Nice.
Is she going to do it or not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you coming or not?
Yeah, that's wild.
That's what we're writing about.
That's a cool perspective. Very cool. Well, the other song I played wasn't an Hour 11 song, and I didn't ask Sean's permission to play it, but I did.
Oh, it's all good, dude.
It's the Geo song that you and I actually worked on together.
Yes.
I enjoyed that one. It's different. I know it is a little bit rough, what we did mix-wise on it, but I enjoyed it at the time. Let's see.
It's cool.
I want to say that was 4, maybe 5 years ago that we did that song.
Seemed like 5 to me, man.
Maybe, yeah.
No.
Cool. And I remember you sending it to me. I mean, like you, Dan, I knew Sean and didn't really expect. I mean, I'll be honest, I sucked as a vocalist in Spectra, and why he would ask me to sing a song with him was beyond me. But I guess you heard some other stuff.
Yes, Torn Max and all the things you've done.
Cool.
I
enjoyed the song, and it really, for me, it was a vocal range anomaly. Because to this day, when you talk about, hey, maybe we'll get together, because Dan, I think you and I would rock that. It's got some kind of cool low guttural to it, and then I'd come in on the chorus. It would be fun to do it as a band with you sometime in the future, but it would also be very challenging because those are some of the highest notes I've ever hit in that song, and that was 5 years is a long time when you get into the our age. Right? So.
Tell me about it, man.
But I've always wondered what, you know, I know that you called it Geo. I'm not sure why, because I wrote the lyrics for it. But
it's weird.
I guess you had been working on that song for a while before I jumped on it.
Yes. Well, you know, that song came about when I was just doing, you know, just like the solo thing.
Yeah.
And my friend Eddie, his son name is Gio, and I thought his name was really cool.
Yeah.
So I, you know, have this habit of taking names from, you know, for whatever, and just calling that song that.
That's very cool.
You know, and his son he's amazing. You know, I mean, he's racing on quads now, and he turned out to be this really good kid.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, I really am thankful that song, how he wrote it, it all came together for him, and I hope he hears the song and
at some point, yeah, you know, kids grow up and they rediscover. I know my kids got a little older and they went back and like didn't realize how cool some of the stuff was you were doing. I'm like, you were there the whole time. But that's the way kids are, and even I go back and listen to stuff and it's like, wow, how did this skip me the first time? So that's cool.
That's cool.
Since this is our last interview segment, let's talk about where we can all find you. I know there's an Hour 11 website, is there not?
Yeah, hour11.net. Yeah, definitely there. We've got Facebook.
Now, when we say hour11.net, are we spelling out the word hour?
We're spelling out the word hour, but it's 11.net because that's all we could get at the time.
Hour 11, gotcha.
But on Facebook, it's Hour 11, and 11 is spelled out. And that's we went back and forth between the 11 and the 11. We ended up with the 11 spelled out. So,
all right.
Yeah, I was real big with these guys. Like, so are we Hour 11 or are we Hour 11 spelled out? Like, I just need to know because I like those.
No, I think when I was putting together the flyer for Throwback Metal Fest, you guys were still in the middle of that struggle.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly what we're going to do, because I'm like, guys, I just need an answer, man.
The funny thing is like our logo is like an 11 with these brackets, and so like if you ever see me on Twitter or whatever, like under Honeywing 2000, that's like kind of the name I've stuck with me. But I always like have our little logo that I tweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now it's like cool. Like you can hashtag Hour 11. You know what I mean? But just the logo itself is doing its own thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
You know, because Hour 11, like the whole point of Hour 11 is no matter what you're into, no matter what you're doing, who you are, and what your thing is, like live that moment and live what you do as it's your last hour.
Sure.
So if you were to be gone at Hour 12, how would you live Hour 11? And you should live that every day. You know, so even if it's not pertaining to the music, like I'll put out something that just means so much to me, or somebody else that I know and what they're into, but if they're bike riding, whatever the case may be, and like living Hour 11.
Very
you know
cool.
what I mean?
Yeah,
it's more than just a band name. It's like a movement, you know?
Very cool. So we got the website, we got Facebook. Is there a YouTube channel? Or?
Yes, we have YouTube. I believe that's the Hour 11 spelled out.
Okay. Even you guys.
And it's the Hour 11.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's THE Hour 11 spelled out. We got YouTube. What else do we got?
Well, it's been a few months since I visited your website, but I recall that your website was social network friendly. I mean, you could probably have all those links there.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And we've got an Instagram. We're doing all that good stuff.
That's the Hour 11 band.
Hour 11 band. Hour 11 band.
We'll work it out.
But
So,
I mean, everybody has Facebook. So you hit us on Facebook, and don't be afraid to ask for friendship. Even just as personal guys.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing more we love than hanging out with people.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And meeting new people, especially at shows, man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what's coming on the horizon there? What any new shows on the books?
Just writing.
Yeah, we're just writing right
So
now.
you don't want to think about a gig right this second?
No, we're planning on having the stuff done hopefully by Super Bowl. That was the goal. I don't know why we said Super Bowl. I guess
Is that still thinking you might do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll have the stuff done.
That's writing.
That's just writing, yeah.
And then, hopefully go to the studio right after that, record it, and then I want to be on the road hopefully in June.
So since you guys are a full cohesive unit now, I imagine the approach of this album is different than the first one, where you guys are probably jamming on these songs first.
A lot different.
Yeah, it's great. We come. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, well, in the past, I would write the songs.
Yeah.
Just the ideas on the computer, and then I would just funnel it down. Well, with this band, it's all of us.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll probably go back just a little bit. Like right now, I'm just like, I have like all these ideas.
Sure.
And then I'll just shoot them to these guys, and these guys will do their thing, because they all have their own computers now. Well, except for Marcus. Well, he has a computer, but he doesn't have like the software and all that stuff. But
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's way different now.
That's cool, though. I mean, it would be a cool new approach.
Oh, it's great. It's got like a live feel to
Right.
it.
We jam a lot of the stuff out and get some ideas.
Yeah.
But Sean's like this monster of ideas, man. So on top of that, he's still mailing us stuff, you know what I mean, by email. And like just recently, a song we're working on, he shot something to me, and I'm like listening to it as I'm driving, and I'm like, holy crap, I hear something else. So I sped it up a couple of BPMs, and then I chopped his guitar up a little bit, and then I went home and like did it on the electric kit and played it and shot it back out, and they're like, sweet. And then it just kind of evolves after that. It's weird.
It's very cool.
So we have all these different angles. So I think that's what it's going to help the album be really diverse.
Very cool. Let's talk about some of the supporters. I know that Multi. I mean, isn't she cool? I mean, she's got your guys'
man.
She's got your guys' back big time. But I mean, she's always supporting you guys. I see that on Facebook.
Shout out to Multi for sure. Yeah.
Yes, and Greg
Garcia. Shout out to Greg Garcia. He kind of runs the show for us, like behind the scenes.
Dude, Greg Garcia is like, he's like the best thing ever, man. Like, I mean, I tell you, like when we play a show, I mean, we're all into it. And I know me, like when I'm done playing a show, I feel like my arm's going to fall off. Sometimes I can't feel them, And I look to like, all right, time to start breaking down. Like Greg's on it. He's like really broken down there in my car. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This guy's a monster. This dude comes to our rehearsals and sets up some breakdown.
Yeah. What a guy, man.
Like,
that's awesome.
And I mean, he's like a band member.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he's so involved in what he does with this. I mean, he's a part of this band.
That's awesome.
Shout out to Rockwell NC NC Magazine. Get a copy if you don't have it. They're just wonderful people.
Haven't they? I mean, they have really. I mean, I remember seeing them do some. They were out at a couple Colton shows, Riverside shows, but they have really like. I mean, didn't they had some tragedy recently? Didn't their house burn down?
Sure did.
Yeah, wow. I mean, but just the heart for the scene that I've seen them come out with. It's amazing.
They're solid people too, man. I mean, you talk to them, they're just like you always want to be around them.
That's cool.
Great.
Yeah.
And all the local bands that we play with and have the opportunity to play with, they're all wonderful. It's really cool. The scene is just chill, It's great. And there's no egos, man. It's like when we were kids, it was ego. It was a competition.
yeah.
Just like Rockstar, the movie.
Yeah, you had to be the best singer. You had to be the best guitar player, and you had to look the greatest.
Sure.
But now it's like we just love being around each other,
And I think a lot of that comes from, the scene was dead for a long time. Right. And it's not where it should be. It's certainly not Europe, and it's certainly not, major cities like I know Chicago has a little bit more, a better turnout for metal, but we're working on it. And I think that because of that, we're kind of like all brothers in the war, really, trying to get this going. And there's really no time to be dicks to each other. Let's work on it and let's support each other. So
hopefully we can play with you guys.
Yeah,
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. We're going to go to Ragnarocker in May in Chicago. But you're talking about June. So when we come back from that, I don't see why not. I would love to. I would love to get some Corona shows maybe going.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah, and you were talking about Spanky's. Remember when because they moved to Showcase.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the Spanky guy working the Showcase in Corona.
And that place is famous.
I had such a great time at the Showcase. Saw Galactic Cowboys there. And there was 5 people in the audience. I'm like, this is Galactic Cowboys, man. I remember Yngwie played there when nobody cared about Yngwie anymore.
Wow.
So whoever was working at that, I know it was kind of known for, because when he was Spanky's, it was really punk and ska.
Sure was.
But when he brought it over to the Showcase, he kind of expanded his horizons. Wow. And we saw a lot of cool shows there. I know there's a local Riverside band called Shoppy that I really like, and I know they do a lot of shows there. Yeah. But yeah, man, I miss that place.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to have that back.
That was like one of the original cool places to play.
It was.
Now it's like what's around here that's like super awesome to play. I mean, the Glass House has got to be like one of my favorite ones to play. Like the main stage there.
That's Pomona, right?
Right, because I mean, from a drummer's point of view, right? All the subs are underneath the stage, so when I hit my kick drum, you feel it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that's the best feeling in the world,
That's very cool.
House of Blues too, definitely.
House of Blues.
Shout out to Gig Boss too.
Yeah, Gig Boss, dude.
Yeah.
That guy. I mean,
Gig Boss, who we recently found out his real name because Facebook is making everybody use your real name. Right. Like, oh, that's who Gary is.
Right. That guy, man. I mean, talk about like love for music and the scene and really support. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he's like so fair with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care who you are as a band. I mean, he treats you right. You know what I mean? And he's got so much love for everyone. And I know Hour 11, we'll do anything for that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so new album coming out, and then we're going to go out and do some gigs, and it sounds like Cantation might hook up with you. That'll be a fun run.
Yes, sir.
And we'll go from there. And then when that new album comes out, we'll definitely have you back here in the studio.
Awesome.
And we're going to end this. We're going to end the night out here with your song "Codependent."
Thank you.
Sweet.
All right.
Another
great.
favorite of mine. I mean, is it self-explanatory? Is there a little twist in there?
It's self-explanatory, yeah. It really is. Just being codependent on people. Sticks, you know?
Second favorite album on song on the album. I actually really dig that one.
Thank you.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate you guys being here, and
for having
like
us.
I said, new album. We'll do it again.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Thanks, Martin.
He's the best.
Something reminds me with every stare. I still can feel you as I breathe in your ear. I wasn't perfect. I know you're right, but we're both to blame for why we always fight. I'm sick of being the one that causes you all the pain. I'm sick of being the one that you always blame. I said I love you. You said I lie. This vicious circle has us fighting over death and life. I don't have answers why it's this way. We need to figure this out so we can get through the day. I'm sick of being the one that causes you all the pain. I'm sick of being the one that you always blame. I'm sick of being the one that causes you all the pain. I'm so sick. I'm so sick. I'm so sick. I'm sick of being the one that causes you all the pain. I'm sick of being the one that you always blame. I'm sick of being the one that causes you all the pain. I'm sick of being that one. I'm so sick of being the one, yeah. I'm so sick of being the one. I'm so sick. I'm so sick. I'm so sick.